Good evening, friends. Welcome back to Medical News Today for June 2nd, 2026. Today, we are leading with what the medical community is calling a watershed moment in oncology. At the American Society of Clinical Oncology, ASCO, 2026 annual meeting, a standing ovation marked the presentation of data that could fundamentally shift how we treat one of the deadliest malignancies on Earth, pancreatic cancer. For decades, advanced pancreatic cancer has carried a notoriously poor prognosis. But results from the highly anticipated Phase 3 RSLU 302 trial have completely upended expectations. The trial evaluated an investigational, multi-selective RAS pathway inhibitor called daraxonrasib. The data shows that daraxonrasib doubled the median overall survival for patients with metastatic pancreatic cancer carrying RAS G12 mutations. Patients on standard chemotherapy saw a median survival of just 6.6 months. For those receiving daraxonrasib, survival jumped to 13.2 months. Progression-free survival also doubled, moving from 3.5 months up to 7.3 months. What has oncologists truly excited is the safety profile. While adverse events were brought across both cohorts, severe grade 3 or higher toxicities were actually lower in the daraxonrasib group compared to standard chemotherapy. Even better, only 1.2% of patients dropped out of the daraxonrasib arm due to treatment side effects, compared to over 11% on chemo. This represents a massive win for patient quality of life. This multi-selective target approach is already being eyed for trials against colon, ovarian, and lung cancers sharing similar mutations. Segment 2, FDA Watch, Emergency Prophylaxis and First-in-Class Approvals. Next, we turn to major regulatory decisions hitting pharmacies this month. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has officially moved ahead of its mid-June PDUFA action date to grant a major approval. The FDA has officially approved Zocova, also known as ensitrelvir, making it the first and only oral antiviral option approved for the prevention of COVID-19 following a known exposure. Developed as a 3-CL protease inhibitor, Zocova acts by shutting down viral replication before it can establish a foothold in the body. Data submitted to the FDA from the Phase 3 Scorpio PEP trial prove that a 5-day, once-daily oral regimen given within 3 days of a household member testing positive drastically reduced the transmission rate and shielded high-risk individuals from developing severe infections or exacerbating chronic conditions. This joins a flurry of early summer regulatory actions. Let's look at the breaking updates from the FDA Novel Drug Approvals Hub. Xanic, cefepime/zidibactam officially approved as a high-potency combination antibacterial injection to tackle highly resistant, complicated urinary tract infections. Hepcludex, bulevirtide mod granted accelerated approval as a breakthrough virion entry inhibitor specifically for adults battling chronic hepatitis delta virus. Foundayo, orforglipron capturing consumer headlines as the only oral GLP-1 receptor agonist pill for obesity that can be taken at any time of day. Unlike earlier oral weight loss alternatives, it requires no strict morning fasting or water restrictions. Meanwhile, looking ahead to the late autumn pipelines, both Genentech and Vertex Pharmaceuticals announced that the FDA has accepted new drug applications under priority review for 2 novel therapeutics. Genentech's oral SARD, giredestrant, is being fast-tracked for curative setting early breast cancers. Concurrently, Vertex's engineered fusion protein, povetacicept, has been fast-tracked for IgA nephropathy. Both treatments have been assigned a final regulatory decision deadline of November 30, 2026. Segment 3, MedTech Breakthroughs, Surgery-Free Pacemakers and AI Infrastructure. In medical technology, engineers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, have unveiled a device that could eliminate surgical complications for millions of cardiac patients. Published this morning in MIT News, researchers have successfully tested a prototype ultrasound-based pacemaker that can non-invasively steady a failing heart without a single incision. Traditional pacemakers demand surgical implantation, carrying risks of wire displacement, tissue scarring, and infection. This new approach utilizes external, highly focused ultrasonic transducers to send precise acoustic energy pulses directly through the chest wall, triggering localized bioelectric currents in the cardiac muscle to sustain a rhythm. It could offer an immediate, non-invasive alternative for emergency cardiac pacing and temporary stabilization. Simultaneously, the race to optimize clinical radiology just received a major financial boost. Subtle Medical, an industry leader in AI-powered medical imaging software, announced a $33 million Series C growth capital round anchored by Morgan Stanley Expansion Capital. As global health systems face unprecedented backlogs, longer scan times remain a massive bottleneck. They degrade image quality due to patient movement and delay critical diagnoses. Subtle Medical's vendor-neutral AI platform runs downstream of MRI, PET, and CT hardware. It uses advanced pattern recognition models to instantly upscale low-resolution, rapid acquisition scans into diagnostic-grade images. This effectively slashes physical scanning times by up to 60%, expanding hospital scanning capacity and improving patient comfort. Segment 4: Global Health Transitions, Maternal Insights and India's Digital Scaling. Turning to preventative medicine and epidemiology, a newly published study from West Virginia University highlights a simple, impactful change for maternal health. The study, led by Dr. Bethany Barone-Gibbs and published today, monitored prolonged sedentary behavior in pregnant individuals across several university-affiliated medical centers. The findings were stark. Pregnant women who sit for more than 10 hours a day face twice the risk of developing adverse pregnancy outcomes, including gestational diabetes and preeclampsia, compared to those with shorter sedentary times. The actionable takeaway? You don't need intense workouts. Replacing prolonged sitting with simple, low-intensity movement, like light walking or standing up periodically, was proven to significantly mitigate these risks and improve vascular outcomes. On the global infrastructure front, India's public health ecosystem is hitting unprecedented scale. According to data tracked by the National Health Authority, NHA, the Ayushman Bharat digital mission has officially crossed a monumental threshold. 90 crore, 900 million, unique ABHA health accounts have been generated, alongside the successful linking of 100 crore digital health records. For a population that historically faced fragmented care records, this creates a unified digital health ecosystem. It allows clinicians to access longitudinal medical histories across any registered provider in seconds. However, this digital modernization comes alongside a shifting burden of disease. Fresh analytical releases from India's Comprehensive National Family Health Survey, NFHS6, reveal a classic public health paradox. While the data shows an impressive, steady drop in childhood malnutrition and starkly improved physical access to maternal care, it highlights a looming crisis: a surge in lifestyle-driven non-communicable diseases, NCDs. Adult obesity, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension rates have risen across both urban and rural centers, signaling that the nation is now managing a complex double burden of residual infectious diseases alongside expanding metabolic health crises. Segment 5: Clinical Pipeline Watch, Targets for Esophageal Cancer and Autoimmune Diseases. In our clinical pipeline segment, pharmaceutical developer Bristol Myers Squibb has dropped positive top-line data from its Phase 3 Pancreasophagus 01 clinical trial. The trial evaluated an antibody-drug conjugate known as isolatamab brengidocin, or IZABREN, in patients with advanced, recurrent, or metastatic esophageal squamous cell carcinoma who failed first-line immunotherapies. The results show a statistically significant and highly meaningful improvement in overall survival. Patients treated with IZABREN achieved a median overall survival of 9.8 months, compared to just 7.2 months for standard clinician choice chemotherapy. Furthermore, the blinded independent central review recorded a median progression-free survival of 4.2 months for IZABREN versus just 2.0 months on chemo, driving an overall objective response rate of over 35%. At the same time, look at how CRT cell therapies are evolving. Historically confined to liquid blood cancers like leukemias, 2026 clinical pipeline updates show researchers successfully utilizing CRISPR-edited, armored T cells to infiltrate hostile microenvironments inside solid tumors, including advanced melanomas. Even more revolutionary, pilot trials are applying this genetic reprogramming technique to reset the immune system in patients suffering from severe, refractory autoimmune disorders, aiming to transition clinical medicine from lifelong disease management toward functional, permanent cures. GLP-1 key points. GLP-1 medications, while effective for appetite control, may impact nutrient absorption, necessitating dietary adjustments. Emphasizing protein, fiber, and hydration can prevent deficiencies and support overall health, including muscle preservation and immune function. Medscape. Antibiotics. These medications usually won't interfere with your drug screens. But in rare cases, a few antibiotics are known to trigger inaccurate test results. Rifampin, which treats tuberculosis, might show up as opiates in some rapid urine screens. What's more, the false positive result may be possible even more than 18 hours after you've swallowed a single dose of the antibiotic, WebMD. Not sleeping enough, you gain weight. When you get a good night's rest, your body can properly control ghrelin and leptin, the hormones that affect how hungry you feel. Without them, you may feel the urge to eat more than you need, which can make you gain weight. WebMD. Segment 6, Outro and Looking Ahead. That wraps up your comprehensive update from Medical News Today for June 2, 2026. As we head deeper into the month, we will be tracking the full regulatory rollout of Medicare's newly launched GLP-1 Bridge program beginning this July, which promises to expand access to high-demand weight loss medications for millions of seniors. We are also keeping tabs on the Phase 3 data readout for ziltivekimab, an IL-6 inhibitor that could establish a brand new standard of care for reducing cardiovascular risk in chronic kidney disease patients. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below on which medical advancement you think will impact public health the most this year. Stay informed, stay healthy, and we will see you right here tomorrow. Disclaimer: compiled information. This content is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The audience/viewers must verify the contents before use. The creator, publisher, and YouTube will not be responsible for any harm.